thought I had sent him one. Of course it gets stuck at bloody just remember you are live right now. The wait is finally over. Here we are for Transnation eSports Season 7, the Australian Grand Prix. I'm Brett Keenan, your host for the most, once again commentating you through this 21 season calendar. And joined with me as always is my partner in crime, Michael Garone Jr. And Michael, we've got a great show for us today here at the Australian Grand Prix Melbourne Albert Park circuit. And really big news coming along in the ways of some personal corporational sponsors, but we'll get into that in just a moment. But Michael, how are you feeling today in preparations for today's first assist race in Season 7?
I'm feeling good. I got a few new names, a few of the same names that we saw last season. A few names actually removed as they moved to no assist, so I think we are stepping into a bit of an unknown in terms of who's going to be where, but should be interesting. Australia is always a good track to open up the season with, so.
And nothing would say better than to start a season off by having a full grid. We currently have 19 drivers, only one reserve. So at the moment we're just waiting for possibility of Julian Monegro signing up. He's the only one who hasn't turned up as of yet. I'll just double check the attendance just to be sure that he is actually scheduled to be in. We do have an X actually on the name. We'll just check that. Reaction. That was for Julia Monegro. So there we go. So we got two. So 19 drivers will be making the grid for today's race. 18 if you excuse the fact that we have a reserve that in Bill Vosti, who is a pretty usual casual to the American League. People from the American League will know who he is. He's quite a bit of a popular character, that one. But he's very active in the assist. Well, he's very active in the national server as well. So before we get to actually, we'll just get them to go now because we're pretty much ready to go. There's no one else we're really waiting on. So anyway, while we wait for them to ready up, Michael, what do you think? How do you find the Albert Grand Prix circuit? What do you think of the tricks and trades to executing the perfect lap around the circuit? And what do you think? Makes it take to win around this track?
First of all, it's a track that I really like. Really enjoy driving around it. Does get a little stale at times for racing action. It is a little difficult to overtake. Key to a good lap here is just full commitment, throwing it in. Turns 1 and 2, you just gotta throw the car in there as hard as you can. Same thing with turns 11 and 12, and have full commitment and full trust that the car is going to stay under you. So the key to being quick here today is going to be just having complete trust in the car underneath you and just keeping on that razor's edge.
I think one of the better terms used by one of our own commentators is just gonna send it.
Yeah.
So while we wait for the lobby to load up, we've had a big announcement. Obviously, it was detailed in yesterday's Back on Track. If you haven't watched it, wow, it's unfortunate because it was a bit of a shamble. We had to switch I had to learn OBS in a matter of a few seconds to get it going, but I did in the end, and it worked out pretty well. So for those who want to know, we are now sponsored by Drink Alchemy. You'll see it in the title of the video. And it's a big opportunity for us as a league to expand further out. It's an American energy... Well, sorry, it's not an energy drink. It's an energy enhancement. But it is basically a big shout out to Anthony at the team of Drink Alchemy for sponsoring the Transnation eSports. We're going to make sure that you get nothing but the greatest sponsorship details and probably the worst gimmicks you will ever hear in terms of advertising this product. Also, I know he doesn't race in the national server, but we've got to give a big shout out to a man who's sporting a bit of a very interesting memorabilia for today's Grand Prix. Well, for this weekend's Grand Prix, Dustin Howe, our driver from he contributes in the national server through conversations, but he commonly races in the US division. He's racing in honour of his grandfather, Roy Waite, who won several races in the stock car championships in Atlantic Canada. He's also in the Maritime Motorsports Hall of Fame and raced under the number 21, which is why Dustin races under that number. And he's racing a very special wheel in memory of his grandfather who passed away in 2012. So Dustin, that one's for you, mate. And now we've finally got a driver on the track. So running through the leaderboard, Michael, who do you want to... Let's talk about the movers and shakers of Season 7.
I mean, we could start off with the new names. We've got Christopher Lubin, Japoa. He's making his debut Tier 1. And then Addix Tizian. He's a newcomer. We've also got Phoenix, who's Jack Foster. So a lot of new name. Vissers, I believe, is new to Tier 1 as well.
Yeah,
that is
well,
Damon.
Well, actually, he's a returnee because he was at the start of Season 6 and then...
Yes, that's right.
And
Yeah, so a lot of new guys, and I mean, people who followed Tier 1 assists very closely last season. No Theodore. He's moved to no assist. Tier 2, I believe. Yeah. No, he's Tier 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, no more Theodore. It's going to shake things up a lot. I think we talked a little bit about it before. I think this has opened up the door for Bo to be a pretty decent favorite, as well as Amar. Amar is still around and he'll be quick. There's no doubt in my mind there. But yeah, interesting new lineup for this season, and hopefully we get some good competition.
So we're riding here with Christopher Lubin, who's doing his virtual lap around the Australian Grand Prix circuit. We're at just turn 5 right now, which is a very dangerous corner to get around at the best of times through turn 6, swooping into 7. It's quite a good area there to invalidate your lap if you're not too careful and go out too wide. Then 8 and 9, which follows through to a sweeper of 10. So as you come through here, you've got to get the power down. You don't want to be losing any traction through here because it really hurts your run. You want to be carrying as much kilometres through here as humanly possible. Then the infamous 11 and 12, where Sunday night 9 PM saw a casualty of drivers just flying off into the wall during qualifying, I think it was.
Yeah, we lost 4 guys to that wall.
Yeah, and I think they were almost within the space of a couple of minutes too. They just kind of went off one by one by one by one, and then through the last series of corners into the final corner, you want to get the traction down here nice and early, get on the power, down the straight, and floor it to about 300 odd kilometres an hour. Across the line, 22.1 will be the opening account from Christopher Lubin. And I think the next driver behind was actually a driver starting his flying lap. And Damon Bower goes to the top now with a 120.7. So that's a pretty good representative time. And now CeeLo to the top with a 120.1. We got a driver off the circuit. That's actually Lubin getting out of the way. Who else is about to complete a lap here? We've got Lee Beattie in the Haas. So that's the other thing, obviously. A lot of different drivers, but some drivers have elected to stay in their same car. So here comes Lee Beattie. He's on the mediums. He sets a 22.7, which just puts him behind Lubin. And here comes Vagelis. He goes P3 with a 21.5. Tizian with a 21.8, and the second of the... Oh, who's that? That's just jumped up. Oh, so Jake Foster up to P3 with a 21.4, and that's our defending Tier 2 champion of Season 6.5 too. Keep that in mind. Daniel Budwell in the Alfa Romeo this season moves from the pink Racing Point. He's up to P3 with a 21.4. Jonathan Dunk up to P2 in the Mercedes, so he's made a switch from the Prancing Horses to the Silver Arrows, and his teammate goes third with a 20.6. Not bad times, actually, Michael.
Yeah, decent times to start it out. I think Liam is coming around the final corner. I think he'll set a competitive time. Let's see where he stacks up.
120.6.
Yeah,
P4.
so right in there with Schoonert and Damon. So
the two Ferraris down in P8 and P9. Bill Vossi's done a 21.6, which is not a bad time. He kind of sat there thinking he'd be a back marker in Tier 1 as a reserve, but pretty representative time. Still waiting for a few other drivers. Pedro Diaz, who was the championship favourite heading into Season 6. That unfortunately didn't eventuate for him. Matty Smith has moved from Red Bull to the Williams. Nicholas Salvador, who was a Tier 2 driver, he's up to Tier 1 now in the Racing Point. Bo remains in the Alpha Tauri. And then, of course, probably the biggest changes that I wouldn't have seen coming, really, we'll just see what Bo does quickly. Oh, no, he's on an outlap. Is Amar and Jake Anthony both in the Red Bull.
Bo almost ruined it all coming out of turn 2. Got a big snap oversteer, just caught it.
It's always an interesting concept when you see these drivers come in. So, you know, you spend a season in the top game. And I mean, Bo came out firing quite quickly, actually, when he moved from Tier 2 to Tier 1 after winning the Tier 2 in Season 6, moved up to Tier 1 in Season 6.5, and led the championship for a little bit when Pierre Langford transitioned over to Tier 1 Gnosis, and that's actually another bit of a breaking news bulletin over the week. Unfortunately, Pierre Langford has elected to resign from racing due to personal reasons, but had stayed on board as a steward for the Nationals and the Regional Service. So, Piers, whatever's happening to you out there, mate, hopefully it's all good and we're all wishing you the best. And we've got... Oh, you're just commenting. Just commenting to Bill there. Don't disappoint me. So, let's just have a quick look at there's quite a few comments going on. So we finally have a commentator for the Assist Tier 3. So thank you to our mate Gaz, who elected to put his hand up and elect to commentate for us there. I'm just trying to find our live stream, which I think is right here. Yep. No comments, so no idea what the weather's going to hold. So this will be an interesting development. Oh, as I say that. Who's the favourite to win it at this season, boys? Okay, so comment here from Stuart Leslie. So, well, I mean, if you were racing in it, you could have won it. Well, you would have been a good shout for it. It's a doozy, because obviously Amar was the championship favourite against Theodore last season, and, you know, so taking Theodore out kind of puts Amar really as the guy to beat. Bo's done a 120.2 and he's invalidated his second run. Modesty is not your strongest point. Your modesty is almost as bad as your commentator's curse, Stu, there. But, yeah, I think CeeLo looks... Oh, as I say that, he gets really ragged on the exit of 9. But, yeah, CeeLo's looking pretty strong at the moment with a 120.1. That's looking hard to beat at the moment, qualifying-wise, although Bo really only a 10th off it. I'm thinking it's going to be a real good contest between Amar, Bo, and maybe even Vangelis. So, hard to say. Really hard to say. I think this season is going to be one of the most competitive Tier 1 assist seasons we've had.
Amar had a lot of bad luck throughout 6.5. And... I mean, it seemed like every race he was having to overcome something, and sometimes he would, and sometimes he just couldn't overcome the bad luck he was running into. So, if he avoids that, I think he's a real favorite.
To answer your question, Stu, no, Bill does not race. He's reserving. He's reserving. Oh, and Damon Bower goes to the top with a 120.18. Now,
Joe, bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, so Joe had made mention that he'd be a bit of a dark horse and didn't really take it to value because he was racing in Tier 2 for the last end of 6.5, so he must have been putting in the hard yards to get up there. He left the European regionals at the end of last season after a bit of a mishap in Brazil, so he must have been putting in some good practicing for the last few weeks. But yeah, he goes P1 and his teammate P3, so it's quite an interesting variety of drivers through here as Vagelis goes to the top of 120.0. So people are starting to really put out their hand. But no, Bill is reserving for Adam now, actually.
Kowalczyk.
Kowalczyk, yeah. So we're getting there. We had Anthony, who runs the Drink Alchemy, give us a bit of a tutorial on how to pronounce the name, because it's actually Polish. So he knows his way through Polish, because I think his girlfriend is Polish or has Polish origins or something like that. We're also, I think, in the space of time, are expected to have a representative of Drinks Alchemy join us in the chat. So when he pops up, feel free to ask him any questions you want to know about Drink Alchemy in terms of its creation, what its intended purposes are, how it operates. It's very hard not to really isolate it as an energy drink, because it's not. It's clearly something different, but it enhances the mind. Its main ingredient is the nootropics, and it's got all kinds of natural organic material made to enhance mind capabilities, which is great for people who love the game day in and day out, or if you like Alex Boniface and you like raiding on League of Legends. Sorry, that was my one for the day. So we're right on board here with Michael Schooner in the Mercedes, who's just about to start another flying lap. And it's a very interesting contrast to see the differences of driving mechanics from driver to driver. So we did watch Christopher Lubin in the first run, and he's currently still P14 with that 21.4 that he originally set out. So heading into Sector 1, what's his initial sector split? It's 26.5, so he's only about 2/100ths faster than his previous best. Into probably the more technical part of the track. This corner I actually don't really particularly like. I find it to be very misleading, especially if you can't get the power down. Bill's just responding to Stu saying I'm reserving. Oh, he invalidates through 11. Very easy to do, because I think you would agree more than anyone in this term is that when you come into 11, you're really focused on trying to get as much speed into the corner as possible without obviously going out too wide into 12, which then can ultimately fire you into that outside wall.
Yeah, what you do through 11 is going to really determine what you do through 12 as well.
Amar goes to the top with a 119. A 19-2. Holy Moses. Oh man, that's a doozy of a lap. That's probably where you would be roughly if you wanted to be in the mid pack of no assist tier 1.
Yep, that would be yeah, that'd be right there with the very, very large mid-pack of no assist tier 1.
Well, exactly, and that's the other thing too. So I think this year we've created the perfect... Sorry, wow. Yeah, I'll say this year because it is New Year. This year's racing is going to be definitely more competitive in terms of driver balance. I think this year's evaluations have created the perfect catalyst. Now, I don't know if we... Ooh, Jake Anthony, super slidey out of the exit of 1. I don't know if we got into details of how the evaluations worked, but for this season we incorporated that the top 10 of no assist and assist tier 1 were given immunity, so they didn't have to partake in the evaluations unless they wanted to. And then the initial plan was actually to have the bottom of tier 1 and the top of tier 2 go into an evaluation bracket, and then that would have determined that, and then vice versa for 2 and 3, but that actually slipped my mind, and we just went by the normal procedure, and I think we've created a pretty structured tier all around.
Yeah, I think especially for our top tiers, I think it is a little easier to determine our best of the best. I think maybe it was, even then I think it was really, really tough. There was guys, especially for no assist, where 3 or 4 guys could have gotten that final spot, and we had to choose one of them, and it wasn't easy to make that decision. But yeah, I think we've hit the optimal in terms of how competitive the field is in pretty much every tier.
Jake Anthony only with a 120.8, which sips him to P11. Bill Vosti has actually improved his time to a 120.7, which has put him in the 10, so not bad for someone who claimed he was going to be at the back of the grid. And some interesting comments have popped through. Obviously, a lot of people won't necessarily get it unless you're watching the US Regional Nights. Sebastian Flores, who is Bill's rival, has, they talk about things. So, okay, so
Ooh.
Amar reckons
Bill invalidates.
Amar reckons that's all he needs. Vagelis has invalidated his final run. The question will be, will he take a gamble and use up the tyres again for another run? Bo hasn't gone into a 120.20240, so he's only within touching distance of that second place front row start, and his teammate still sitting on that 1 minute 20 points.
Bo retires.
Yep, so Bo obviously didn't, and Vangelis is in, which I'm guessing will be...
is going to be in.
See, I probably would have taken the gamble and gone for that one more lap. Although, of course, we are... Well, no, he retires, but I was thinking, obviously, because I'm hosting, there is that desynchronization between us and the panel, so hard to say, but it looks like Damon Bowe is going to go for one more flying lap here, and I think that's Bill about to finish his lap. There, is he improved? No, oh no, he invalidated, didn't he? So he'll be going for one more flyer. Anthony has enough. P11, probably not the best place where he would want to start, given where he finished in the championship. Oh, Damon, so aggressive through 3. Oh no, actually, sorry, that was 4. Joe Brindley has split the Mercedes duo with a 120.5, so that's not too bad there from Joe. Daniel Budwell down in 16th, not where I would have thought he would be, and Lee Beattie down in 19th.
We kind of talked about.
Oh, and Boa's on the fence, and he's out. That was a huge moment out of 12. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, we talked about Budwell's pace towards the end. Oh man, as soon as we talk about him.
He's gone off at 12 as well.
I think he was 7/10 up coming out of the second sector split as well, so... yeah, he dropped a little bit of pace at the end of last season, and yeah, he's down in 16th right now, although I think that lap would have been a huge improvement. That would have put him where he should be.
So just keeping an eye here on Jonathan Dunkel. Oh, he's grabbed grass on the exit, on the entry of the last corner. This might have hurt his lap a bit. Across the line, 20.5 dead.
Improved.
And we're still, because Michael Schooner still has a lap to complete. No big jumps yet. So Amar has got pole position in the palm of his hand, unless Michael Schooner has something to say on it. Around the last corner, a bit wide out of the approach. And across the line, it's a 20.0. It does put him up to P4, but unfortunately, it's not enough. It's pole position for Amar Singh. And Daniel Budwell will start in 18th position. Almost lost 18th to Christopher Lubin, but Christopher never improved his lap time, so his opening account was his finishing account, so he'll be a bit of soul searching. Great work from Jake Foster up to P10.
Yeah, he's that group from about 7th to 10th really close. The whole field, I mean, Amar's the anomalies. From second to last place, second to last place is only spread by about a second and a half, so You talked about the competition in this tier, and it's really showing that. And I think I'd say Daniel Budwell for sure did not put in the best lap he could. I don't know about Christopher Lubin or Tizian, but yeah, I mean, just look at the gap from fourth, or even, I mean, from Dunk to Matty Smith is half a second. That's the difference between midfield and towards the back of the field. So it's I think that's a good sign for the race.
Um, so that's qualifying done, and the Drink Alchemy pole position award goes to Amar Singh, and that was a very impressive lap there from the Red Bull driver. Second in last year's championship. Unfortunately, like Michael said, didn't have the greatest campaign through season 6.5. He was kind of having those, when he was having a good race, it was good, and then if he was having a poor race, it was poor. He was really ever sort of in between for Amar, but this season he's come out swinging, and pole position is his award for that merit. So in 15 seconds time, we'll obviously run through the DXT eSports starting grid. I'm hoping that by next week I'll be having my own overlays, much like Stuart does in the Monday regional. So that's going to be something cool. So hopefully see that Bahrain, if not maybe China. So right. Okay.
Still loading.
Have we got a broken? It's a bit early for the. It's probably a bit early for the lobby to break this at this point. We haven't even hit the formation lap. It is completely silent here. Hang on. Just go there, flick that. It's not showing. I don't know. Hang on, we'll just have a look and check in the assist here room to see if anyone's making mention of it. Okay, so I think what we will do is we're gonna have to stop this at some point. So I don't know how this is gonna work. Because if I shut the game down, it shuts the stream down. I've got it. Michael, if you go and make a lobby, so if you restart your game, go make a lobby, invite me to it, then I can keep the stream going.
Yep.
Oh, hang on.
How are we going now?
No, well, something's just popped up. And with Joe Brindley leaving, it's actually... No, there's too many people leaving. We'll just carry on as normal. So, I'll just quickly... Okay, cool. So that's given me the lineup. So I will quickly sort all that out, and then we'll pull out the formation lap. We'll pull the formation lap from this, so people will know. I'll just let them know now.
Alright, you are invited.
Yep. All right. So what will happen then actually, yeah. No, you keep doing the settings up, and I'll just invite everyone else. Now this would be where we need one of those signs, so to say, please wait. Exactly. I have seen this issue happen once before in terms of the lobby breaking during formation lap or at the end of formation laps. Not really have I ever seen it happen before it. So, yeah, turn formation lap off. Might as well not. We might have to review that across the season and see if we might actually have to end up pulling it from the system, because it does seem like formation laps are a bit bugged out in this game. More often than none. I'll send you an invite even though you're already in, just so obviously we don't have too many dramas. But yeah, so not the start we were hoping for, obviously. And it does kind of make problems when it comes down to obviously getting people ready. So obviously, Michael, if it draws over time, you'll be free to vacate the lobby to go prepare for your race. Just trying to think who. Yeah. Well, I can read it out to you once I've got these invites sorted out. I'm just trying to I'm having a loading issue with it. Speed. Apparently I'm not the only one either, so I'm glad that I'm not the only one having PSN issues where it's just being slow, and took me nearly 20 minutes to actually get into the party the first time. Luckily it didn't hurt the downloading time for the F1 game, which I find weird. Codemasters, if you're listening, which I know you're not, but listen anyway, because you know every season I have a rant. God, season 2, my rants were extensive. Actually, if you ever want to watch, if you're ever bored, Michael, go watch a race from season 2. Assist tier 1 commentary. No, sorry, no assist tier 1 commentary. The rants I come down with, some of them are just amazing. So we will just double checking that everyone is in. It's a good thing that they can't see your PSN list, because some of these PSNs that pop up are okay, so the grid order was Amar P1, Vagilis P2,
Yep.
Bo P3, Michael Schooner P4,
Yep.
Damon Bower P5.
See here, he is.
Amar says you can put me anywhere, put him last. Nah, CeeLo P6.
Okay.
Oh dear God, Amar, you better not be serious about that. So, Dunk P7.
Yep.
Pedro Rapult Tracing P8. Joe Brindley P9.
He's not in here yet.
King Holm, no. Okay, I'll send him another one. Where are you? There. Okay, no, he's having us on. Must be a inside joke. So until then, put Jake P, whatever it is next.
Yep.
And then Liam P11.
Is he not here either? No, he's not.
Okay, Joe's appeared. I'll just send Liam an invite. So after Liam, it's Bill.
Okay.
And then it is Anthony.
Wait. Bill ahead of Anthony.
Yep.
Okay.
Just gonna have to double back because
Wait,
I don't think I actually scrolled. Here we go. So after, just gotta wait for the Michael Schooner to cross the line so I can. There we go. So after Maddie Smith, it's Salvanic. Liam's in. You good?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so after Salvanic, it's Flea, Lee Beattie.
We got Bill, Jake, Maddie.
Yep.
And then Lee Beattie.
Salvanic, then Lee Beattie.
Salvanic. Then Lee.
And then Tizian.
And then Budwell.
Yep.
And then Christopher.
Yep.
Alright, we are good to go.
Alright, so we'll both go spectate and we will tell the guys to go. So after threatening the people that I'm going to come over there if they don't ready up quicker, we're about to get pretty much get started on take 2. So
oh, we did forget to set the weather.
Oh,
we didn't know the weather.
Well, yeah, we didn't know the weather,
so know the weather.
So we can't assume. We can only assume. Well, I mean,
it's bright and sunny.
Okay, well that's good. Wait, how have you gotten into the weather before I have? I mean,
I'm just looking at sunny skies. Oh no.
Oh, I was gonna say I was just looking at bloody the lobby saying 6 seconds left, and then it froze. Okay, well here we are for take. Hang on. I don't know, but I think everyone's just obviously loading up their setups and whatnot. I think, yep, here we go. So I think we're on course for everything. So we pretty much ran through the DXT eSports starting grid while setting up the grid. So that's pretty much what you do. If you haven't watched it, if you missed qualifying, it's amassing on pole position. But yeah, here we go. So we got 9 seconds before the start of Season 7. The assist here, the action builds, the revs rise. Well, they will rise in a minute. And I didn't even hear a countdown, actually. That was a bit interesting. And Liam, come on. Liam! Liam! Yep, here we go. Okay, anyway, the light's building up, it's lights out, and away we go for Season 7 of the Transnation Esports, powered by Drink Alchemy. It's a great start by Vangelis. Vangelis has had a beautiful start. Mars being bogged down at the start. Bo reaches up to P2. Everyone seems to have gotten through the first turn in one piece, but it's Vangelis. Oh, I say that now, but there's controversy in the back.
Wing flying from somewhere, from a McLaren, that's from Pedro.
but everyone seems to have gotten through rather contactless free. But Vagilis, what a beautiful start from the first row of the grid. He leads Bo into turn 6. Then it's Amar. Iceman's had a good start. I think the biggest loser at the start has actually been Jonathan Duck. There's contact in the rear. Someone's had it off again. Oh, what's going on in the back there? That was a bit of a lag spike there from Tizian. Oh, that's right. Tizian doesn't have the greatest internet connection, so might expect to see a bit of lagging from him there. But as they file through turn 11 and 12 for the first time, will we see any incidences will filter through? Oh, yes, actually, I think... Was that... Yep, CeeLo, I think, had a bit of a moment, but he saved it. But other than the carbon fibre flying around, as CeeLo gets his first penalty, and we haven't even crossed the first lap, but all in all, a very good first lap.
We've got some Pedro's in the pit. And Tizian also had an end plate come off, so we'll probably see him in. Yep.
I think actually Vagilis took the time in the restart to actually change his number back to whatever it was. I didn't actually recognise what number he was running originally, but that is his regular race number. So top 3 have managed to pull a bit of a gap over to Michael Schooner, who's got Damon Bower for company. In the back here we've got Matty Smith making a move on Christopher Lubin for position 14. Bill Vossi hasn't made up any ground from the start, but has come out pretty squeaky clean as the bottom 2 of Tizian and Pedro now only just make their way out of pit lane. So that's a lot of time lost, and that's, I think you and I both know, when it comes to racing like that, first lap wing damage is never a good sign.
Yeah, just sitting there in the back all by yourself ends up in a really boring race, especially if you have to strap on the hards and try to make it to the end.
Oh, we got a casualty. Oh, Bill Vosti has gone around at 12, but has he actually... I think he's actually managed to avoid any wing damage, so that's a bonus. So he'll be able to just get back into the groove of things, unless his tyres, of course, take a bit of a hit. In terms of things, we'll just see. No, they actually look pretty good, so he's managed to come out of that in relatively one piece. But at the moment, his teammates just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's pulled out a 0.7 of a second gap over Bo, who has Amar for company. So Amar still struggling to find the key method to getting this F1 car off the grid properly.
Yeah, he hogged down a lot right off the start there, and Vagilis was ahead of him before they were even close to turn 1. It's right off the line, Vagilis was ahead. So regardless of that, I think Amar is still in a good position. Saving a lot of that ERS. Bo's already used. He's already down in the 20s in ERS, so Amar's just got to wait this out. ERS will come into play this lap. I'm sure he'll try to sneak his nose in there and get back to the front.
And one of the more interesting things about this, and obviously I won't be in such in tone with it now being a retired driver, but obviously the last thing you want to be doing in a race like this is using up your ERS right from the very start, so you don't... When you're in Bo's situation, yes, you're obviously trying to stick with the leader, but at the same time, the leader, who is really pretty much conserving as much ERS as humanly possible, is just enjoying to the lead. But Bo really doesn't have a choice but to use his ERS, because obviously he's got Amar behind him who's not using as much ERS as well. So heading into the DRS zones, Bo's quite vulnerable. In fact, I think Amar might have a sniff here up the inside. He does, and contact.
Ooh, little touch.
Just enough for Bo. You know, Bo's not an easy customer when it comes to speed overtaking, so he's within his rights to defend, and he did so, but probably would be considered to be a little bit dangerous in terms of how that could have ended up. But I think Amar saw what was going to happen if he stuck to it and elected to turn in shallower. Is he going to have another look? He thought about it. In the meantime, his teammate, Bo's teammate, I should say, Damon Bo, is having a bit of a look here on Michael Schooner. Now, where is... Actually, Anthony's had a pretty good start. He's come from 14th up to 8th. He's right behind the Tier 2 champion of Jake Foster. Just see if Amar's going to have another... Oh, Bo made a huge mistake coming out of the DRS straight. Got on the grass. In fact, Amar nearly thought about and the incentive to move up the inside. Now, I have noticed something quite interesting about the two Red Bulls. They're both racing in opposing coloured helmets. Amar's running a pure white helmet and Anthony's running a pure black helmet.
Yeah, they're two simple guys, I guess.
So coming into lap 5, Vagelis has nearly pulled out a 1 second gap over the field as Amar, is this take 2? It is take 2, but this time around the outside, he's going to get it done. What a move! Very rarely you get that move done around the outside, but he had the traction just to nail it through, and Bo didn't fight it too much. Got a yellow flag in the back there, but I think that's just a localised, and someone's in the pits there. That's Nicholas Salvador. That's for a front wing change. So
as soon as at the same time that Amar made the move, Damon Boa got ahead of Michael Schoonert, so he's up in a P4. It's like he's already starting to close in on the top 3 groups, so obviously being held up a little bit, but he's gotten through.
Yeah, and Amar's already wasted no time in getting right up.
I am the new commentator's...
Oh no. Wait, actually, that is true.
As soon as I start commentating with Stu. Stu, if you're watching.
Oh, I know. He is. He's watching. Oh, I think.
I put the blame fully.
On
Leslie.
Well, you know what I think. I think because you and Stu are commentating together on the Sunday 7 PM league. Oh, Vagelis! Oh, that's going to hurt. But my point is, because he's commentating with you on the Sunday night, I think he's rubbing his curse off on you.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it was happening to Lane as well. Lane was having a bit of a time on the Monday or the Sunday 9 o'clock league with a few commentators' curses as well. Just my son. But yeah, that's a big problem there for Vagelis. But in the meantime, Lee Beattie, who I don't know whether he started on the... I think he started on the hards.
He started on those.
He is currently P1, and on a strategy that could very well see him catapult up the field Joe Brindley has... Joe Brindley's he's crashed.
Right. That's interesting. And we got Bill going through, taking an excursion through the grass.
That's an interesting area. I'll just see if we can...
Oh, he had on intermediates.
Oh, he did too.
Look at the tire detail he had on intermediates.
I wonder if that was a mistake. I would say in a sense, yeah, it just looks like he's gone on intermediates, and then I guess he was trying to go back to the pits, try to cruise back to pits, lost traction into the fence. So that's a very bizarre outlook to that aspect.
That's well, the hards and the intermediates are right next to each other on the MFD on your tire choice, so he's just gone one click too far, noticed too late, and obviously intermediates on a track where it's bright and sunny is not going to be easy to manage.
It's not, it's never the easiest sort of aspect behind that, so it's unfortunate that that's happened. So let's have a look at our movers and shakers. So in terms of positional changes, obviously the lead has changed from Vagelis to Lee Beattie, but of course Lee Beattie's running an opposing strategy to everyone else. Obviously with the crash from Damon Boa, that puts Michael Schoonert back into position. Now actually, surprisingly through all that, Bo has been the biggest loser. He's dropped 2 positions because of that, and I would say that's probably as the account of everyone pitting, so he would have been impeded a little bit in his pit stop.
We've got, if you look down the whole field, we got varying strategies for everybody. Vagelis on the soft, Amar on the medium, Schoonert's on the hards, CeeLo softs, Bo on the hards. And we got a great mix of everything. Will the mediums make it to the end? I think that'd be a stretch.
Yeah, I don't...
The hards will comfortably make it. The softs definitely won't make it. Oh. I think that's just a little bit of lag from Vagilis.
I think personally, from the scheme of things, if you're wanting to do the one-stop strategy from the soft to the medium, you want to be taking your soft to at least lap 12, lap 13 at the most. I think last season I took mine to lap 15, but that was only because the default setup I was running wasn't actually burning the tyres away as much than humanly thought. So lap 12 at the latest, that will get you 17 laps on the mediums. That will get you to the end. Not comfortably, but it will get you there comfortably, but obviously your pace differential will be hurt. Now, safety car's coming in this lap, that's a bit early, but obviously the safety car believes that the wreckage has been cleared. Now, I think Lane was the one who made it specifically clear here, or maybe it was Stu, I can't remember, but the Australian Grand Prix circuit, in terms of the safety car restart procedures, is always one of the messiest. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I think because we know that the safety car will always speed away at the start of the third sector, and I guess that maybe it's because Australia's third sector is really long as opposed to other circuits. Could be a hypothesis, I don't know, but
this last corner is tricky to get the power down when the tires are cold as well.
So what can Beatty do? Beatty was a little bit tardy he was good on the entry, but the exit was really tardy. That's given Vagilis the incentive, and Vagilis needs to get on with this. I guess the idea that Vagilis has is that he wants to use the softs to build a gap with that 5-second penalty, as he wastes no time in sending it up the inside of Lee at the hairpin. Lee does give him a bit of a bump. They're actually going to keep at this.
As he goes around.
That's kind of what happens when you... he's going to need to... that was actually quite clever there, Lee.
I would never out of the way.
Yeah, I would have never thought to use that part of the escape road to get away, but in the sense, Lee really probably should have given that one up, because he knew that obviously Vagilis was the faster driver on the better tyre, so you've got to be careful when you make those kind of moves, because it can backfire as it did. But what I was trying to say is CeeLo gets another penalty. That's number 6, or penalty 6. What have we got here? In fact, he's making a move here on Schooner around the outside at 13. Don't get that one done too often either. That's usually a recipe for disaster, but he's gotten through. He's now provisionally on the podium. But yeah, so the soft runners will be just looking to get ahead of the slower tyre drivers, and then build a gap so that when they make their second stop, they'll be on the better tyre and be able to rope in that time without too much diminishing effect there. It's already working. He's already out of DRS range of Amar, and CeeLo will slowly but surely catch up. Bo has Jake Foster for company, and Anthony as well. So as Budwell now makes a move on Matty Smith for 10th. Yellow flag, sector 2, that's a racing point.
That's Nicholas Salvador.
How did he get away with that? He was going through that corner at full tip. So, yeah, not too bad for the first 9 laps. Vagilis is pulling out a massive gap already, 1.7 seconds after the first flying lap. And CeeLo is already within a second, could get into DRS range of Amar in the next few corners. Of course, DRS won't be active until this lap, I believe. And yeah, very rare to see a Ferrari up the front.
Yeah, nowadays, that's very true. Jake's gotten around Jack Foster. So all these soft runners are making their way towards the top of the field. Seems like the softs, well, clearly the softs are going to be the quickest tire, but they seem like the best tire to be on right now. I guess these guys on the mediums are going to elect to do a soft stint at the end.
Salvador retires in the pits. Oh, that's the other thing too. So, obviously you're going to probably see a lot more retiring in the pits now, because we have reverted back to the original point system of Formula 1, so 25 for the winner and then 0 for anyone position 11 down. So you are going to start noticing a lot more retiring on retiring in the pits, because obviously, at least with last year's system, you were still going to score points even if you finished 20th. Whereas now, if you're stuck in the back, people just get demotivated. So that's sort of the downsides to these systems. You have your pros, you have your cons, but it's just the way it goes. I mean, real life Formula 1 drivers have to deal with it. They can't just retire in the pits because they're stuck in 11th and they can't get points. The penalties.
Gotta do the laps.
The penalties are starting to fly at the moment, so the top 3, only Amar Singh doesn't have any. Michael Schooner's just opened up the can of worms on that one. As he's got, who we got here? We got Anthony making a move on Bo.
Again. Ooh, they touch wheels there on the entry.
With Bo, sometimes a little assertion has to be enforced, because he will make it tricky for you to overtake him. So sometimes you just got to get your elbows out and just give him a bit of the same courtesy. But he is on a bit of a charge here. But of course he is on the soft tyre, which is giving him more the advantage as he's ranging up on the back of Michael Schooner. His teammate Jonathan Dunk hasn't had the greatest start to this race. He's been P9 since the race started. As Anthony clocks up his penalty. Let's have a look at those, see where we're at with them. 3, obviously the 5 seconds for Vagelis, 6 for CeeLo, 3 for the rest, and 11 seconds for Bill Vosti. Actually, in saying that, Amar has brought that gap down a little bit onto Vagelis, but at the same time, CeeLo is slowly edging his way to the back of him.
Jake might look down the inside of turn 1. He's going to be a little too far back.
I think
It's a good run out of turn 2.
Well, we'll just see. He's got the run, and he's just gonna send it around the outside.
Makes it work.
Yeah, so not too bad there. Now that puts him up to P4, which means Red Bull now currently P4, and that's Liam making a move on Jake Foster there. So yeah, definitely all the soft runners are starting to make their way up through the field. The next driver on the soft field would be Daniel Budwell and Pedro. So that safety car has actually helped Pedro out. Obviously he was the casualty of the first lap melee, which saw him in the pits with a wing change. Got Tizian on the back of Christopher Lubin here for 13th. There's quite a bit of a gap here actually between Anthony and CeeLo. So Michael Schooner is actually starting to fall into the clutches of Bo as well. So
Amar is starting to rein in our leader within DRS range, so he's making those mediums work. Those softs are starting to age quite a bit. I think we're going to see a lot of soft runners in the pits within the next few laps.
Yeah, so the biggest beneficiary out of this will be Bo and Michael Schooner, because they'll be expected to go to the end of the race, but obviously as they start to drift down the field, they're already about 8 seconds behind the leaders. Maybe even more, maybe even as far as 10 seconds. So the longer that they fall back on that, the less pain it is for these guys who have to pit for another stint will take. So I never would have really put my mind to the thought that the 2-stop would actually be the better strategy at this point of the race, but I suppose given that with the safety car circumstances, switching from a 1-stop to a 2-stop isn't actually the bad course of action. So just got to wait and see how long before Amar can finally get himself into the range of Vagelis here and make up for that tardy start in the race. as Tizian picks up his first penalty. Vagelis just doesn't look like he's wanting to give Amar any leniency into this as they head into turn 1 for the 13th time.
Ooh. Oh.
I think Amar did grab the grass there.
I think Vagelis had a huge desync, and Amar thought that he made a big mistake and thought he was making the move for the lead.
Excuse me. Yeah, so Vagelis' internet has been pretty decent over the last few rounds. I mean, I do remember once upon a time he was quite vicious in his lagging. Not as vicious as Jerome Nicholas, although apparently his internet's been resolved, though through public opinion it might not have been as sound, but obviously I'll be able to see that when I'll be able to watch the No Assist Tier 1 race, which is in just under an hour's time. And Amar's looking that extra little bit feisty. He's looking not exactly at making a move, but he's looking to fill that Ferrari's mirrors up with Red Bull signage, heading into the penultimate corner, and then down to the last corner with DRS. And the interesting thing about it is that Vagelis hasn't been using that much ERS. He's going to be using it now.
Yeah, Amar's been really holding on to what he's got, though. He's up quite a high level on ERS, so
yeah, I would think
Amar.
Are we going to see a move? Not quite. I would have sent it. I most likely would have sent it. But obviously Amar, much more experienced, much more wise when it comes to race ethics, at least in Formula 1 terms. If it was touring car sense, I would have, you'd just send it and that kind of bit, because Rubbing's racing, not so much in open wheelers. But in terms of things, Amar doesn't really need to push as hard as he needs to, because obviously Vagelis will have to serve the 5-second penalty in the pit, so that's going to drop him behind Amar anyway. But I don't think Amar really cares too much about. Oh, in fact, wait for it, and done.
That move was kind of too easy for him to not make, so.
Amar also has to be careful too, because he's fuel conserving as well. In fact, there we go. So Vagelis blinks. I was going to say, the last thing Vagelis will want is a second penalty, so elects to slow down into the pits. Anyone else joining him? Yep, Liam and Daniel Budwell and Pedro. No, Pedro stays out, sorry. And Bo records another penalty, so that puts him up to 9. Where is Bo? There, 6.
He's at 6.
I could have sworn he already had 9. Oh no, that's CeeLo.
That's CeeLo.
Alright. So Amar leads the race now. Vagelis rejoins just in front of behind his teammate, actually, so might get attacked here by, in fact, it's deja vu for Vagelis, as he's got Lee Beattie behind him, and Lee will be looking for a little bit of payback, but doesn't look like he's got the tyre pace to really put it in. So Lee's strategy was going to probably vault him up the field a bit, but unfortunately that spin for him has put all that paid to rest. Just gotta... Anyway, sorry, it's just something happening in the Xbox League. So just to sort of reiterate, we do have an Xbox League, and it's been slowly dying. The head of the organisation, which is a member of the DXT League, has announced he can't really continue with it. So they were trying to find a new head of operations, otherwise they're going to shut it down. We've just apparently just found that new head of operations, so the Xbox League could still be happening. So if you're an avid fan of the Xbox and you want an Xbox League, well, head on over to the Transnation Esports Xbox League and help it restore it back to its former glory. Vagelis just cleared his teammate.
Jake's just come out of the pits behind Bill.
Oh, very much right behind Bill. So that's the amount of time that Vagelis has lost because of that 5-second penalty being served. But at the same time, now Vagelis has just got to get his head down and proceed to punch in the fast laps and try and get that undercut on Amar. Yeah, he's probably going to lose out once Amar pits for the softer tyres, I think.
Silo's finally in after 11 laps on some softs. That's can't be feeling good.
It's probably not the wisest sort of approach to take when you know that the mediums beyond lap 13 or 14 would get to the end quite comfortably. So this is probably a bit of a gamble, though, because of that 5-second penalty, he should still come out ahead of Vagelis, who looks to be making a move here on Tizian. Down the inside of turn 1. Oh, just a little bit of space not given. Tizian almost loses the control of the car, but holds it together. And next on Vagelis' doorstep is Christopher Lubin, who is currently holding down a points pay position in 9th. So the only driver left on the softs not to pit is Pedro. He is currently P7 at this point in time. And he's got Matty Smith behind him, who runs a bit on the grass as Bo picks up another penalty. So that's going to bring him to 9. So based on all this, once this all filters through, Michael Schooner will be in the lead of the race, but he's got Bo right up his gearbox for company. But of course Bo does have 9 seconds to Michael Schooner's 3. So at this point there's no telling that Bo will eventually succeed to second place. But if positions stay as they are when Amar pits, it will be a Mercedes 1-3.
As long as Dunk doesn't pit at the same time. I don't know though. With the gap that Amar has, I wouldn't doubt that he tries to stretch the set. I mean, we've seen him. We've said that tire stints are impossible to do, and he goes out and does them. So
well, I think
wouldn't
didn't
doubt
he do
the
like
fact
30?
That he may be trying.
He did 36 laps at Monaco, didn't he?
Yes, he did an insane amount of laps at Monaco on a set of mediums, I think. So I wouldn't doubt if he tries it again.
And I suppose I did 35 laps around Zandvoort on a set of hards, as Schooner now picks up his second penalty. So that won't be help. That's the pressure getting to him a little bit, because obviously he's got Bo right up his gearbox. Bo almost replicated his teammate there in terms of that corner point. So Bo has a look. Oh, that was more than a look. He actually almost went for a send there. It was from the visual I saw. It almost looked like he actually careened into the back.
Amar's just proved me wrong. He's in.
So where is he going to rejoin in terms of? There comes the leaders. Second. So will he get in front of?
Right behind Jack, which Jack is pitting.
So behind Jonathan Dunk. But what's the initial end gap between the two? It's about 3.3, so 3.5 seconds. So let's look at the leader. The leader interval. So he is 8 seconds behind the leader with 9 laps left to go. A second a lap. Well, he only has to be now.
Within 6 seconds.
Yeah, so within 6 seconds. So if we take 8 seconds off, he's already 2 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah,
so,
the only thing is that fuel light is still on, so he will have to do some fuel management in these last 8 or 9 laps. I think being on the quickest tire, though, would be pretty easy to manage a good pace and still save some of that fuel that he needs to. So he's already going purple through the middle of the sector.
So that just go, and he's already pretty much bridged that gap from 3.4 seconds to 1.6 seconds in the space of 2 sectors. So you can tell that the softs are so much of a quicker tyre. Now I would think if I was in Dunk's position here, which, well, he's just ignored my thoughts, would have been to react to that and pit for the soft tyres, because there's, oh, we got a yellow. Oh, that's CeeLo in the wall there. Oh, no. Matty Smith almost drove straight into the back of him. Not CeeLo's fault, it's just Matty just wasn't sure where he was going. And just almost actually drove straight into him as he was backing out. So CeeLo had the right in mind to get out of the way like he did. It's just, I don't think Matty was sure where he was going.
Yeah, I'm sure Matty is still shaken from that one. As Mars also made his way into P3 already.
I think I'd be in the
5 second gap.
I think I'd be in the Brown Undies Club if I'd seen that. I think there's only ever been maybe 2 Brown Undie moments in my career. I wouldn't be able to tell you them, to be honest. Can't remember. Oh, actually, no, there was one. It was Japan season 4, and Eduardo spun off at Spoon, and then reversed straight into my path, and I just missed him by millimeters. And then, of course, the next season, subsequently, someone drove into me under safety car. So, Mamar sets the fastest lap of the race.
22.9.
No surprises there. As Bo continues this relentless charge on the back of Michael Schooner, neither one of them have enough ERS really to attack one another. As Vagelis now clears Matty Smith for position. Matty's actually done a pretty good job to hold down position 6 to this point. What is Jake Anthony going to do? Vagelis is starting to jitterbug across the track now, so that's probably a little unnerving for anyone near him. Bill is in the pits now. He's just serving his 5-second penalty, and he will fit on the softs, no doubt. He'll probably go for the fastest lap, which under the new rulings now, which was decided upon by the US committee, which Michael obviously is part of, that if a reserve gets the fastest lap, it will be excluded and given to the driver who actually completed the fastest lap, that is a regular. So at the moment Amar has it, and I think that'd be a very hard time to beat. But he's wasting...
You don't think Bill can do it?
Oh, I don't think Bill can do it. No offence, Bill. But Amar has wasted no time in this stint. He's now 1.1 seconds behind Bo. And so he only needed to be 6 seconds behind it. Well, he's pretty much saying, I want to win on track. And of course, you know, Mr. Excitement, as we call him, sarcastically, of course. It's just, you know, one of these things. He's just one of those kind of guys. I think winning has become so convenient for him that, he's no longer surprised about it. Now, who's that? That's CeeLo making a move on Matty Smith there. So CeeLo's making a bit of a recovery from his spin. He's looking like... I actually think CeeLo's looking like quite a competitor for this season.
I think CeeLo... I mean, he showed a lot early on that was promising for me. Obviously, that unfortunate spin. Ooh, he got a yellow flag. I think it was Amar. Amar's got damage.
Oh, so Amar's had a moment at turn 11.
Big damage.
So I think he's actually lost it into turn 12 and has managed to get away with it with only a damaged wing, and as expected he's coming in. So that's going to put Vagelis theoretically in the race lead, unless... Although, what's the gap between him and the leaders? 17 seconds.
17 seconds.
So this could have actually been the biggest break that Michael Schooner has ever needed. In fact, Bo has dropped right off them. Oh no, sorry, I was looking at Dunk. That would explain a lot. So yeah, even theoretically, even Jonathan Dunk can't overtake them. He can overtake Bo, I think. Yeah, so right now, we're staring at the barrel of a Mercedes 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's that gap for Dunk is close. Oh no, well no, Bo's picked up 12 seconds, so if Dunk can, I don't know if those mediums are going to hold on. It's the only thing. But if he could just hang on to those for another 5 laps,
Oh! Go. Okay, commentator's curse confirmed.
See what you did, Stu?
Speaking of which, looking at the comments, haven't looked them in a way. Nothing new as of the last few times. But yeah, so at the moment, Michael Schooner could be staring down the barrel at his first Transnation Esports national race victory, which would be quite interesting given that his teammate got his first win last season.
Ooh.
What do you mean you don't? I'm not the one giving him the curse, Stu. It's him. It's all Michael. It's not me.
Stu is the one who is handed that trade over.
Well, I'm going to be watching your race this in the next 40 minutes or so. So we'll see if no one crashes that Stu comments on, then we'll definitely know that he's passed it on somehow.
Yeah, he's.
Now he's telling us to stop talking about Michael Schooner.
Yeah, let's not talk about him.
I'm a bit surprised though that Bo really hasn't been able to. This battle has been going on between these two for pretty much literally since the safety car restart. So that was about lap 8. So this battle's been going on for nearly 16 laps, which is really incredible. Bo just can't find a way past that Mercedes at the moment, despite having DRS and... Well, he's not actually... I don't think he's actually using his ERS in contrast to that. So, no, even with ERS, he's just not been able to get that car any closer. Vagelis has slowly but surely started to creep up onto the back of Michael Schooner. Jonathan Dunk. So, Vagelis still could play a part in this. If he can get to the back of Jonathan Dunk, he could steal... Well, he will steal the podium, obviously. But, yeah, he could still play a part in the deciding factor of the end of the race. So he could very well steal it. Just being on the fact that he's got no penalties. Silo's just picked up another. What's that put him on? That's put him on 15. Is that normal, or is that including a 5 second? No, that's including a...
That's just... No, I think that's all 3-second penalties.
Oh yeah, because 3 5s are 15, so yeah, he's got 5 penalties. I learned math. Anyway, so for those who are just tuning in, lap 26 of 29, Michael Schooner leads from Bo Wigger, and Jonathan Dunk makes it at the moment a Mercedes 1-3. However, Jonathan has 20 lap mediums, and he is under attack from Vagelis, who's on 10 lap mediums. And it's only really a matter of time before Vagelis will get the overtake done and will then proceed to try and put some pressure on the front two in a bid to overtake them on the terms of penalty count. So to reiterate, as Amar further lowers the fastest lap of the race with a 1:21.5, Schooner on a 6-second penalty, Bo on a 12-second penalty, and Dunk on a 3-second penalty. Vagelis and Lubin and Pedro are the only 3 drivers with zeros next to their name in terms of penalties, and CeeLo is our biggest penalty count at the moment with 15, as Vagelis laggy but attacking the back of Jonathan Dunk now. So there is a 5-way battle now for position 3 Though, at the moment, it's very much in the hands of Vagelis, who has no penalties as opposed to everyone else around him. That lagging is driving me a little insane.
Oh, piece of wings just come off.
That was off Anthony's car. But I didn't see him go into the wall. Maybe that's as a part of the Vagelis lagging bit. Maybe he's actually crashed into Vagelis's car. Not
Vagelis down the inside.
And that's job done. I don't like when people do that. I never liked it when people, they overtake you, they clear you, and then just before they hit the braking zone, they cut across you. As Anthony, despite his front wing damage, attempting a look down the inside of Dunk, so goes out wide.
Really struggling. But I think Dunk is as well. 22 laps. He's got to hope that those tires stay together for this last lap and a half.
Yeah, so I did say 15 laps on a set of softs is doable, though highly unrecommended. Not sure as Bo picks up another penalty.
Yeah, those tires are not in good shape.
Oh no, they're going to go 3 wide into 10. CeeLo actually, no, they're going to go side by side.
Dunk just let this go. He does.
And everyone seems to get through cleanly. But yeah, another 3-second penalty for Bo. That's possibly going to actually put him in under threat for the podium based on now being on 15 as opposed to Dunk on 3. But Dunk is falling down the order ever so slightly. We're on the final lap here. Michael Schooner has got 3.4 kilometres left to run in a bid to claim his first Transnation eSports race victory. He doesn't even really need to let hold the Bo up if he doesn't want to. It's Bo showing his aggression. He's just trying to stay on the back of that Mercedes, but I mean, if you were here to tell me after what we were saying about the start, about who was going to win the race, if you had told me it was going to be a Mercedes, I would have said no.
Yeah, I wouldn't have believed you. They're two solid drivers, guys that aren't slow by any means, and you know, I definitely some U.S. guys. So me being fellow U.S. regional driver, I got to root for my U.S. guys, but yeah, didn't see them winning. But yeah, I mean, things kind of just played perfectly into some of these guys' hands who don't, have a chance every week. And yeah, Schooner's going to round the final corner.
And this is going to be a big pouring of emotion for him, no doubt. It's unexpected and unprecedented, but Mercedes win the Australian Grand Prix. Michael Schooner does it. His first Transnation eSports national race victory. And Bo will cross the line P2, but will he hold on to it? Here comes Vagelis down the line. Our pole sitter takes second. And Bo will hold on to third with... No, he does. Just as Anthony and Amar. So Amar jumps up a few positions, comes up to P5. And Christopher Lubin up to P6. So Lubin, who started at the very back of the field, P19, has come up to P6. That's a beautiful drive there from Christopher Lubin.
Sure. And driver of the day in the game, and I think that'd be driver of the day worthy.
Atta B, Iceman, atta B. As our Tier 2 champion, Phoenix, Jake Foster, finishes in P9, and Liam rounds up the top 10 with Matty Smith P8, and CeeLo P7, I believe, after all those penalties were put into place. So we will now take this time to grab our top 3. Oh, excuse me, those burritos. It's good to know that they've actually fixed the PSN issue now, that we can allow people to be invited into the lobbies again. So good to see that. So who am I inviting again? Bo, Vagelis, and Michael Schooner. And I'm sure Michael also probably was not expecting to come into the first round of the championship and then predominantly come out of it leading the championship. I mean, you have to hand it to Amar that despite his raw pace, unfortunately, a little mistake has put paid to potentially the first win of the season. But we know he's quick, we know he's there. So he could afford to give one driver a race win before he starts cleaning it up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take him how you could get him. Schooner put himself in a perfect position, going on the right strategy during that safety car, and yeah, did what he had to do. Also tough for him because Bo was right on the back of him pretty much that whole stint, so he had to deal with somebody within his DRS range that whole 23, 24 laps. So
and it's a
really
and it is a very unnerving prospect, and he does join us in the commentary box. I will just give a moment here while I try to get into the showroom. Comment from Izzy, who was watching the race. Hardly ever commented. The first comment of the day, Izzy, thank you. So, Michael Schooner, congratulations. Your first Trans Nation eSports victory, and not only in general, but in the Nationals of all places, the big time league. So, congratulations. How do you feel, mate?
Oh my gosh, that was I am sweating bullets. Bo was just behind me, I think pretty much that entire race, just all over the rear end of my car, and I'm just happy I was able to keep my cool and not rack up more penalties than I did. But what a race! That was a lot of fun.
And it's also one of those kind of races too where, unfortunately, Amar, who was pretty much rounding you two up at that present point in time, made that mistake. So even if you hadn't won the race, you would have got your, I believe it would have been your career first podium as well. So
Yeah.
of all places, I think you make the US side your home, but to come here into the Nationals and clock it up in the big time, that must feel quite special.
Oh, definitely. I was just trying to finish in the points, to be honest. I was really happy with the fourth place qualifying finish, and I just decided, I might not have the pace of Amar, so I'm just going to kind of go on a different strategy here and just try to stay clean and consistent. And Bo didn't help with that, but with putting the pressure on all race, but it was good, and I'm really happy I was able to pull it off.
No problems there, and it's always a great one. The first one's always the most special. Michael, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, you're a fellow Monday regional competitor for me, and a lot of us who run nationals use regionals as sort of a practice run. You know what we were going to expect, so considering we had 5 safety cars on Monday, what did how did you really prepare for this race today? Because you didn't really learn much from that other than how to ride under safety car and not run into people while you're doing slow pace.
Yeah, Monday was definitely an interesting one, as you well know. But I had some other league racing before that race and in some other leagues, and I found that I could really stretch those hards quite nicely if there was an early safety car and take them to the end. And after a while, those softs would fall off in about 6 laps or so for some guys, and you would see the gap start to kind of neutral out. Which that actually happened in here. I was able to see, start gaining back on the soft runners a little bit towards the end before they went into the pits. And same thing would happen with the hard or the mediums, obviously, with the other guys. So I was pretty confident on the hards if I could get on them, and that safety car came out, I think, lap 5 and hopped on there and just made it work.
Well, congratulations. Obviously, I'm another fellow U.S. regional guy, so I love to see the U.S. guys do some good things. So enjoy it. They're not easy to get around here.
No, they're not. Thank you.
So, thank you, Michael Schooner. We now are joined by Bo. Well, actually, no,
I think he just
dipped.
left.
He just dipped. But either which way, it was a P2 for him as well. So he's showing that he's still got the possible ability to take it on with the front runners, and there is definitely a lot of potential heading into this season's racing, and I think we've pretty much hit the nail on the head in terms of competitive nature of Tier 1 assist. Michael, do you have anything to add to that?
Nope.
No? Okay. So, that pretty much ended actually a lot earlier than expected. I would have actually thought we were going to cross over into the danger zone of the no assist tiers. So, without further ado, we'll call it a close unless Bo does somehow magically turn up before we fully wrap it up. But so congratulations to our top three, which obviously Michael Schooner, Bo Wigger, and Vagelis Sioporos. Unfortunately, neither Vagelis nor Bo. Well, Bo was in; he disappeared. And Vagelis, I don't think he actually has a mic. I can't remember. So the first race of the Transnation Esports, powered by Drink Alchemy, is complete for the assist division. I'm sure the assist tier 2 and 3 are done as well. So congratulations to whoever won those. And of course, big thank you to the commentators for that, which would have been Joe Roberts and Harry Lillis for tier 2 and Gaz for tier 3. In 25. Oops, so sorry. I thought there was someone joining. So in half an hour's time, we do have the no assist tier 1 and tier 2, which is commentary from Stuart Leslie and Matthew Elliott for tier 1, and the DXT boys of Dan and Alex. So they're always fun to watch. So I'll probably switch in between them myself now that I am fully able to. So without further ado, Brett Keenan, Michael Garone Jr. signing out from the Australian Grand Prix. Stay tuned for the Tier 1 and Tier 2 no assist department. And of course, tune in next weekend when we go live for broadcast for round 2 of the Transnation Esports powered by Drink Alchemy assist division at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Thanks for watching.